Hi, this is our project submission for the Hedera Hashgraph Hackathon. Our project name is BuildSmart, and BuildSmart is a smart contract no-code app builder which allows you to build your application and deploy it to the Hedera blockchain in just seconds from this web user interface. To get started with BuildSmart, we first need to log in. Go ahead and hit the login button. Once you hit the login button, a pairing string will be copied to the keyboard. We can then go to our Hashgraph wallet and we can connect a app and paste in the pairing string. This will tell us that BuildSmart would like to connect to your wallet. Go ahead and approve. Once you do that, it will automatically update your dashboard. So I'm going to go to build and I'm going to blank. We're going to go ahead and start with a blank template. I'm going to go ahead and call it to-do list app. From the name of it, you can kind of get what we're going to build with this application. So let's go ahead and hit create application. Now it should prompt you to approve and execute your smart contract. Hit approve and success. Awesome. So our application has been created for us. So we can go to our dashboard and view it. As you can see, we've got at ID 3 to-do list app with us being the create, and the timestamp is less than a minute ago. Awesome. Now to actually do something useful with this application, we can go ahead and click on this row in the table, and we're going to get this nice screen where we have a bunch of metadata fields which we cannot edit, and we also have a bunch of actions. So we're going to start by creating objects, and then we're going to move on to functions and then compile it and deploy it. Now before we get started with creating all these objects and functions, let's understand what an object is from a layman's view. An object is essentially what you're trying to build, what you're trying to work with. We're going to see more of objects and functions as we go deeper. Now that we've given it a name, we also need to add a few fields to it. As I told you before, a to-do is an object that we can express in other primitive types like text or numbers. So what is a to-do? A to-do would consist of a couple of things. It would consist of a task. Now the task in our case would be a string, because a task will be a bunch of letters, a bunch of words, and so that will be a string. We can add another field to it, which would be done, whether a to-do is done or not. Now we can say it's a true or false, since it's going to be Boolean. It's going to be whether the task is done or not. Now we can go ahead and add more fields, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. Hit save, and once you hit save, you'll be prompted to sign and execute the transaction. Hit approve. Once you do that, you'll be prompted to sign another transaction. Hit approve again. Once you do this, it'll tell us a new object is created for the application. Go ahead and close the notification. And now if we reload the page, you're going to see that we have a new object by the name to do. Awesome. Let's go ahead and add some functions, and let's actually do something useful with our application. So I'm going to click add function, and I'm going to give it a name. A function in our case would be some sort of action that we're doing. So a function in terms of building an application in no code would be having to do anything with an object. For instance, if you want to read objects, or you want to create objects, or you want to update objects. So again, let's go ahead and name the function, and once we start working with functions, you'll get what I'm saying. So the name of function, simple. We first of all need to be able to create to do, so I'm going to call it create to do. Then an action, we can say create, since we want to create to do. But let's go ahead and add a target. A target is what you want to do the action on. For instance, we want to create, and that's our action. So we want a target. So what do we want to create? That will be our target. In our case, it's going to be the object to do. So you'd want function parameters for create to do, and you want to supply those parameters to task and done respectively. Let's take a look at what I mean. We're going to hit add function parameters. I'm going to say task, and I'm going to say string. I'm going to add another one for done. I'm going to say done or not. where it's going to be true or false. Now, what we've basically done here is that the create to do function will get two parameters, task and done or not, and then these parameters will then be supplied to create that to do. We can choose these values and it saves. Once we do that, we again have to sign a transaction, and all this data is stored on chain. It's completely decentralized. Awesome. That's pretty cool. But now that we have creating to dos, we also want to be able to get and fetch those to dos, right? That's an integral part of our application. So let's go ahead and add a new function for getting and fetching to dos. I'm gonna repeat the steps, but this time I'm gonna choose read. But since we actually want to get all the to dos, we don't actually have to pass in any function parameters, since we just want to get all the to dos. And since we don't want to create or get a specific to do, we don't need to pass in any parameters. So let's go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and execute this transaction and create our function. Success. And a new function is created. Now to actually see these changes in effect, let's reload. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit generate Solidity. It will generate our Solidity code and we can go ahead and compile and deploy it. Again, it's going to take some time to compile it and deploy it. As you can see, we have the pop-up again, approve, and success. And as you can see, here's the contract with status success again. Awesome. So I'm going to reload the page, and once I reload the page here, now let's check out this playground button here, this playground feature. It allows you to actually interact with your smart contract with the deployed version, and you get to see the full-fledged result, and you can actually choose the function. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to go ahead and create a to do. Now we're going to have to give it some stuff here, some content here. So the task, since as we specified function parameters, we have to actually give those function parameters, supply them. So I'm going to say task wash dishes. I'm going to say done. Well, initially it's not going to be done. And let's go ahead and test it. As soon as you hit test, we are required to actually execute the smart contract, since yes, we are actually interacting with our smart contract. So go ahead and hit approve. Once you do that, it'll give you a success message and a full-fledged response. The raw thing that we get from Hashgraph, we've basically created our to do. I will add this, and this again, this is our contract, and that's the contract. Awesome. Created contract ID. As you can see, there's a contract call here, transaction, that was just done. Earlier there was only contract create, now there's contract call as well. You can see the raw transaction data and everything, and this indeed matches with what we have here. Let's see if we can get our to-dos from our other function, get to-dos. So I'm going to go ahead and hit test. This time we actually don't have to sign in any transaction, and boom, this is the raw result. It's an array with wash dishes and false, which is exactly the values that we provided to our function. So that was it. That was Biddle Smart. Thank you.